This computer, there we go. Hello, everyone. This is Rainbow Bridge Tribal Council of Light here today with Jeffrey Woodcock in England telling us about his soul retrieval process. And you said you started approximately 3 years ago with this new healing process that you do?
I did, yeah. Like I say, before we started, I was introduced to soul retrieval in 2012. I had no idea what was going on, and it was one of the worst nights I've ever had. I was went to a place called Whitby on the northeast of England. It's like a seaside town, and I stayed in what we call a bed and breakfast. And this lady took me in the kitchen and sort of told me that they'd just bought the house, but they bought it off an elderly couple, and the gentleman had passed in the kitchen in his rocking chair. And when I sort of went to stand where he was in the kitchen, it was absolutely freezing where his soul had stayed. Through the night, again, I didn't know anything about what was going on, and I had the worst night ever. I woke up about 9 o'clock in the morning, went downstairs, and whatever had gone on, the coldness had gone. So I took that to mean that the gentleman had returned back to the light. And that was my first experience with soul retrieval, and I didn't even know it at the time. 3 or 4 years after that, I had a lot of family issues, so I feel my guides thought I had enough on my plate at the time. So it was about 2016 when I started really doing soul retrieval on a bigger scale, if you like. My first one I did was in Scotland, William Wallace's cave near Rosslyn Chapel, made famous by the Da Vinci Code book. And again, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just trusted my guides, went into the cave, felt an energy around me, I felt spirit around me. So I just started talking to it. Respectfully, because we don't really know how they've passed. We don't know whether they're in fear or they passed with trust issues. So it's like making a new, connecting with a new friend, so to speak. You've got to try to understand them, and like I said, have that respect for them. And I just talked to whoever it was for 5 or 10 minutes, left it at that, and then I came out, and for confirmation, right on the side of the cave, there was a little silver butterfly and a silver star on the little banking, and I took that as confirmation that whatever I was doing, I'd done what my guides had asked. So from that, as I was saying to you again a little bit earlier before we started videoing, I've been taken to different places over the last 3 years to bring fears up for me. So I've had to walk through fear in different places. One, it was, they call it a City of Dead tour in Edinburgh, in Scotland. And they took us into these vaults and showed us where a lot of people lived in a lot of squalor, and it was very enclosed. So I was feeling claustrophobic. I started panic attacks, a little bit of a panic attack, but I walked through it and just reminding myself I'm here to help spirit. And I connected with one so clearly. And again, just talk to them as I'm talking to yourself now. And within 10-15 minutes, he'd returned home. And I've been to I've done battlefields. I've done a Culloden. I don't know if your listeners have heard about that, Culloden in Scotland. I've done a soul retrieval on a beach, graveyards, abbeys, and people's homes, and a lot in nature. If we sort of try to help people understand, this planet is what, hundreds and thousands of million years old. Humans have been on this planet for millions of years. So absolutely anywhere on this planet, wherever a physical human body or an animal has passed in traumatic circumstances, there's a very good possibility that their soul has sort of stayed there through fear. Hence ghosts, or if you want to call them spirits, or I call them souls, trapped souls. And like I said, that's what I'm sort of starting to do now. And I'm going to obviously taking it to the next level. I'm starting it as a business, but it's obviously going to be a labour of love.
Right.
So
So do you hear them speaking to you, or do you just feel them telepathically communicating to you?
I sort of trust Archangel Michael, and I've got obviously guides who give me that guide. But it's, for me, it's been more of a knowing and trusting that whatever I say and do is what I'm being guided to do. So I've had to have a lot of trust. I'm becoming more sensitive the more soul retrievals I do. And with every soul retrieval, I'm learning a little bit more each time. Again, like we were saying earlier, I've done a soul retrieval in nature, and I had to go back to this particular spot 4 times within a year. And the second time was about 5 months ago. And what I normally do is, if I can walk around the area, I will put a perimeter of light around it with using my Reiki, holy fire and angelic, and I'll put a sort of a ring of light, and then I'll walk into the ring, and then I'll just follow where I'm guided. This particular one, it was like 3 trees, and as I walked towards this tree, in a specific spot, I felt spirit around me. So just to make sure, I came back and walked towards the tree again, and again I felt the spirit. I had a little chat with the spirit, and it was a little boy. I thought he'd stayed with me and come home with me to help me do the soul retrieval for him that day. But it turns out I had to go back about a month ago, and he was still in that same place. And I feel, with the light that we placed around where he was, with the chat that I had, he was able to trust me. So when I went back the 3rd time, again, it took me 15-20 minutes to have a chat with him. And then when I walked away, I got a symbol that he actually came with me. So it's taken a few months to help that soul return home, but it was a lot of trust issues the way his soul passed. Like I said, his soul was involved at that time with what we class as black magic. Now, I know black magic can put a lot of fear into a lot of people, simply because of the legend when it was created. In truth, it's just negative energy, a build-up of negative energy, which is powerful, and we've got to be respectful of that.
Right.
And I've had to make sure that I protect myself when I do these sort of things. But like I said, this little child had obviously witnessed or experienced something really unpleasant, and it took him a long time to sort of trust in me, which was an amazing lesson. And there's little things like that on different soul retrievals that I have done that I'm gaining that experience, as we all do. You know, we'll always learn, but we'll never master everything.
Right.
That's in my view, anyway. I mean, when we do master everything, we'll have left this planet, won't we?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I've always wondered, I recently found out that children can get stuck like that because somehow previously I thought that if a child was innocent, you know, like at a certain age, then they would automatically cross to the light
Yes.
because they were at a certain age. And then a, another brother of mine was telling me, no, not at all. They can get trapped for all sorts of reasons. And I always wondered what we could do to help that from happening again, you know, because little children don't deserve to be stuck. No, I mean, nobody deserves to be stuck, but a child seems so
No.
innocent and young that they would just automatically ascend into the light. Do
Mm.
you ever get any messages on what or how they get trapped like that here in between?
I firmly believe with what I've sort of come to understand is that our soul is on a journey, and our soul will experience everything that it needs to. And however unpleasant it may be, the souls of children are just like our souls. It's just that the physical body is small, a lot smaller, you know, but their soul is on a journey, and they'll experience, as we all have, you know, depending on how many times your soul or my soul's been to this planet, and I know my soul's thousands of times. We have to, for our soul to remember who it is, experiences both sides of the coin, so to speak. So it will experience, what can we say without being too unpleasant? You can experience being burgled or robbed, but the soul will also experience doing the robbing or doing the burgling. So we've got to experience both sides of that coin. Then we can use, once our soul starts to awaken, we can then choose how we move forward. Do we move forward with anger, or do we move forward by keep doing this, either burgling or robbing, or do we use the experiences to change our life? And that's what I feel the soul's journey is. And that's when we start waking up, we realize what we've experienced. And again, it's only what I've experienced, but when things that my soul has experienced in unpleasant ways, I find myself beating myself up. And I feel that comes because our
I'm
soul, when it
sorry,
starts
can
to
you please
awaken,
repeat that last part one more time? It kind of broke up there. Sorry.
well, what was the last thing that you heard?
The last thing I heard was you were speaking of we choose or need to experience both sides, and then we can either choose to continue to do that or we can change and, you know, grow spiritually from that, is what I was feeling you say. And then it kind of
Yeah.
went like that. So sorry.
Yeah, that's, like I said, when we start to awaken, again, from my experience of my soul, when I've been made aware of a past life issue, especially if it's been unpleasant, I've found myself beating myself up. Now, when our soul is back home, it's pure love and light. So I feel my soul, when it started to wake up and see what it's caused other souls to experience, although it's part of its journey, I've had a lot of issues to try and stop beating myself up. But like I said, that's our soul is pure. If when we talk to our soul in that sort of pure being, as that pure being, it would never choose to do any harm to any others. But that's what this human Earth experience is all about. But like I said, the soul retrievals that I've been doing, I did one at a friend's house a few weeks ago, and her daughter was hearing voices. I think she was saying like "mummy," things like that. Obviously, a little girl when I got there. And I started to go up the stairs, and I only thought I was dealing with one soul, one trapped soul. And within 2 steps, I felt 2 very subtle energies. Now, I was still working on the proviso that I'd only connected with one. So I went to the young girl's bedroom, spoke to the soul, and placed a few of my symbols in. But again, the trapped soul seems to come with me. Now, whether it's trying to gain trust with me or whatever, I haven't come to understand that fully yet. But when I got back home, I'd done a meditation and come round from the meditation, and I felt a surge of such powerful energy around me. And I don't know where this came from. I said, but you're the mother, aren't you? And on those stairs, just taking that one step on those stairs, I'd connected with the child and the mother. They were both in the same house, but they must have passed at different times. So they were looking for each other. So obviously when I got back here and realised that they'd come together through me, the feelings that I had in my heart was amazing. I can't explain it. It was just such a loving feeling. And I didn't really want to help them go. I wanted to keep that feeling. But obviously they found each other, they come back, and then later on that evening I did the soul retrieval. And again, I just talked to my angels to come and escort them home, and it was a wonderful feeling. And I'm getting more and more experiences of that. I mean, I have been told that I've done soul retrieval in a lot of past lives, and that's what I've come back for in this lifetime. And I just love doing it. I really do love doing it. And I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed and feel so grateful to be doing it. So yeah.
That's beautiful. I'm so glad that you do that. And it helps people remove the fear factor, because if it seems like everyone says the fear is what gets everyone stuck. But if the understanding is open and it's not scary anymore, then it's easier to transmute and set them free, right?
It is. I mean, like I said, most of the souls that get trapped will have had traumatic experiences before the physical body has passed. The trickiest soul retrievals that I've done, believe it or believe it not, are souls that have chosen to stay here because they've had happy lives. And that, when I've sort of gone into it, that stems from fear as well. So if you can imagine, you've got 2 people, they've been married for 50 years, they've had a life, they've always been together, and then one of them passes. They don't really want to go. Sit like that gentleman in Whitby in his rocking chair. He obviously didn't want to leave his wife, and that was because of the happiness. And again, sometimes it can be a fear of not experiencing that sort of happiness again on our soul's journey. But again, as you'll know, Michelle, and as I understand, the more we open to this spiritual path, we realise who we are, we're just going to create better relationships as we move on. So we're going to enjoy, in time, unconditionally loving relationships. So, but at the time, the souls who are stuck, and however far back they go, they've been in a situation where there's been true love, but they've gone through so many unpleasant experiences. Where now we're all awakening, we're all getting rid of our baggage, as you said earlier, and life's going to change for the better for us all. We've just got to work through it and keep working through it and keep persevering. And if I might just be able to say, whoever's watching this, I want to thank them for being here at this time and for watching this video, because you're important. Every single person is important on this planet. Everybody has got experiences and wisdom and knowledge to share if people will listen. So never allow anybody to put you down. You're here for a reason, and I'm so grateful that you are. Well, please keep going. It'll be worth it, honestly.
Amen. And I'm so happy that you just said that, because I sing that song every single day to everyone I meet. A lot of people don't realize how important they are, but it takes every single one of us to keep this universe flowing, energetically speaking.
Yes. Yeah.
And the more we focus on our more positive aspects, we can let go of all those old things that bind us to the negative energies to begin with, and we can start experiencing peace on earth again, you know?
Yeah. And when we help each other, it takes our mind off what we're going through. And the main thing that I've learned is we're not alone. There's people out there going through the same, so don't be afraid to ask for that help. However silly it might seem, I've come across people, and when I've been talking to people, it might sound daft, but I said, look, ask me whatever you need to ask me. You know, don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel embarrassed, because you can either keep it in and make yourself ill, or you can ask that question. Some people may laugh at them, but if people can ask me anything, and I will try to help them as much as I can, regardless of what they're asking me, because that's the only way we understand. That's the only way we understand, isn't it? You know, and we can move forward in that way.
Right. And you said you wrote a book, right? Well, I saw it on your information that I saw earlier. Did you publish a book, or are you still working on it?
The first one is actually written, and when I had some finance, I actually got 111 copies printed off. I've got a few copies left of that. Books 2, 3, and 4 are written. It's called Darkness Was as Light Is Now, and that entails everything that I've been through in my life and my family's life, and when I opened up to the spiritual path, what I experienced in that part of my life, because my mum and dad lost a child after a day. My mum had cancer for 12 years and a lot of other illnesses. My dad had 3 heart attacks in very quick succession. I had my dad alcoholic. A lot of other things like that, which at the time seemed as though I was going through hell, as you would. And I know everybody who's listening to this, they will have had their challenges as well. And it all came to a head in 2014, 2015. My dad, by that time, had had a stroke, and he came at me with a knife, and I managed to drag it off my shoulder, but it pierced my arm. I had to get the authorities involved, and within 2 hours, I had to pack my bags. I lost my home, lost my dad, and lost my job in 2 hours. So I've been recovering from that. I'm now in a place where I've recovered, but I'm blessed with all my experiences with my dad, however unpleasant they seemed at the time. I know that everything I've written about will be able to help people. And again, that is my gift on behalf of my family, to share our experiences, to show how I got through it. And again, hopefully people will take inspiration from them, or it'll help them on so many levels to sort of read about what I've been through. But like I said, you'll have been through your challenges as well, Michelle. And this is what I'm saying. We've all got a story. We've all got experiences that if people will listen, we can help each other. Just by talking. I'm a firm believer of, if you listen to people, somebody for half an hour, if they can pour their heart out, that's as good as giving somebody tablets, in my humble opinion. Now, I'm
I
not saying
agree.
don't stop taking tablets. You've got to listen to your own body.
Yeah.
But I do feel that if somebody will take the time to listen, that's a great deal of help for that person on a lot of levels. So yeah, like I said, the books. Again, I'm just going through that transition of starting self-employment with the soul retrieval. So the books will be coming out within the next year, definitely. And I'm writing one about the soul retrieval that I'm doing, all the different soul retrievals that I've done. I'm sort of cataloguing those in a book as well. And I'm on about a book of poetry, because I've wrote a lot of poetry as well. So I'm going to be a little busy bee next year. So
Good. I would love to add your stories and your poetry to our new station. We're building the content for a station called Successful Awakening. And it's to support all sorts of people going through things. Hopefully by us sharing our stories, it can inspire others to get through their pain and see the other side of the tunnel and help them make it through. But we also like to help young writers and artists have a platform that they can put their creative ideas out there from their point of view. Because, I've seen 10-year-olds who already know things that just amaze me. And I'm like, where's your book? Like, why do you even go to school? You should be teaching the class, these kids nowadays. Well, not literally. I mean, they have to go to school, but you know what I mean. Some of them are just born naturally talented like that. And we're going to take the proceeds and help build cities of light for people who are in need of healing and food and clothing, and have a sacred space where people can come and be genuinely treated without judgment and receive whatever they need to grow. Because I find that is one of the most important things we need right now, that a lot of the communities lack, because they're so worried about being judged because of the way they feel. They keep it inside, and then they end up, you know how that ends up, getting a soul retrieval but in between here and the next place. So the less people we can keep stuck in between, I think the better we'll all be.
Yeah.
Do you have a website that people can reach you on? Or if someone wanted to contact you to hire you for a soul retrieval, how would they find you?
I haven't got a website as such, but as you found today, I've got a business page on Facebook, the Soul Retriever.
Okay.
And if they wanted to email me, or email, it's Jeff, JEFFKT 222 at outlook.com. And I've another page under Jeffrey Shanti Woodcock on Facebook. I'm not quite sure about a website yet. I've got one actually started, but again, with our conversation on the messenger, I'm not one of the most technologically wise people. That's something that I'm a little lacking in at the moment, but I know I need to sort of address that. But yeah,
don't worry. We might be able to find somebody to help you with this. All you really need is like a little one-pager with a calendar that they can book you on. Maybe we can find somebody to help you do that. I have a guy who helps me do stuff like that down in Atlanta, so don't feel bad. You can only be good at so many things, and technology isn't my favorite either. Look at this. We're on a screen with a beautiful background of a garden because I couldn't figure out how to take away the picture. I was like, oh, well, it's pretty. Who knows? Maybe they'll like it.
Yeah, and I mean, people can get in touch with me and ask me a question or anything. You know, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help.
Now, do you do
Like
online soul retrievals, or can you just do it in person?
As at the moment, I'm not going to say no, and I'm not going to say yeah, because anything's possible.
Okay.
I know in my heart that wherever or whatever soul retrievals I'm doing, I will either be there or actually visit physically.
Okay. And
But
you're in
again,
London, correct?
sorry,
You said you're in London, correct?
I'm near Manchester,
Manchester.
but travel is not obviously. I have no problem travelling, but that would obviously affect the cost, so to speak. You know, the travelling. I have no problem travelling anywhere. But like I said, I'm just getting the soul retrievals that I've done over the last 3 years have been like my schooling years, if you like. And now I'm stepping up to the next level and starting to do it as a business, but as a labour of love. But like I said, if anybody has any questions about soul retrieval, they can sort of, like I say, on Facebook at the moment, and then when we get the website sorted out, we'll sort that out. But any
Okay.
questions about it, if I can't do it, if I'm not meant to do it, I can give them guidance to help them seek out how best to go about it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Would you ever be interested in teaching classes for other people on soul retrieval in areas that can't reach you all the way across the water there?
I certainly believe I will be doing that. Like I say, when I first started it, I thought it was black and white. I thought it was so easy. And it
Oh,
is easy, but there's a lot of little nuances. There's a lot of little things that I'm picking up on each one that I'm doing. And as I'm doing them, I'm writing them down in this book. So, yeah, I can see definitely sometime in the next year, I'll be doing perhaps one-day courses, just helping people understand what soul retrieval involves. And some of it is all about making sure you protect yourself. And if you are guided to sort of do soul retrieval outside of your own personal soul retrievals, then it would be advisable to sort of learn or become Reiki masters. Anything to get your vibration at a higher level. Because sometimes you're going to be working with a lot of
one
negative
second, please.
energy.
I can tell when your energy gets really high because it blinks out the laptop on our volume here. If you could go back to where you were describing to the most important part is to first learn how to protect yourself. Right after you
Yeah.
started that part, it started freezing your screen.
it, like I
Why
said,
it's so
if you
important,
start,
right?
yeah, it is, and it's not about protecting yourself through fear. It's about protecting your energies as you're doing the soul retrieval. As I've said, I've done some soul retrieval in negative areas, and if I hadn't had attunements in angelic Reiki, holy fire Reiki, I did a course on shamanic healing. If my energies hadn't have been at a certain level, I wouldn't have been able to cope with it. And when you go into places like that, you need that protection because it can have a negative effect on you. The first time I dealt with this issue, the black magic. I don't like using that name because I feel it can conjure up fear within people even
Right.
now. But the first time I had come across it, again, from where I am now, it's not too far away, but it was a lady's house, and a lot of negative things had gone on in the barn. Well, I went into this barn without my protection. I came out and I was shaking like a leaf. Now, again, it's nothing to be fearful of. It's just that I'd connected with so much negative energy. It was obviously taking an effect on me. Fortunately, Archangel Michael, half an hour later, guided me to do a cleansing and do a meditation and sage myself and all that. So I was able to sort of bring myself out of that. But if you get somebody who's doing it and they're not fully aware of this sort of thing, it can have an unpleasant effect on them. So that is what I'm gaining more knowledge on, and obviously in time I will start doing one-day courses on this, just to help people understand the full scenario of doing soul retrieval. Yeah.
So I've taken the courses on Usui Reiki master classes, and I had my own experiences that took me to that higher level that people refer to. But I was curious, is there a class on angelic holy fire Usui Reiki specifically, or was that like 3 different classes you took and combined it into one modality? Just wondering.
Yeah, it is 3 different forms of Reiki that I've come to do. But I do feel angelic Reiki, self-explanatory, you're working with the angels, the archangels. Holy fire Reiki is something that's only come through William H. Rand, who is a fellow American, and that is a real powerful holy fire. It's a transmutatory form of Reiki, and then you've got the Usui. So why not combine them? Why not? Because it's all universal energy.
Exactly.
And I feel on this planet we're blessed with so much choice, because if we only had one form of Reiki or one colour or one type of tree, life would get pretty boring, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
But God's blessed us with so much variety. So I think that's where, when we've got all these different healing modalities, I wouldn't say they're the same. There's some slight differences, but it's just there to give us that different choice. And some people will be drawn to holy fire. Some people will be drawn to Usui. Some people will be drawn to shamanic, EFT. So there's a quite wide range of different natural healing techniques that we can be drawn to.
So do you have to figure out which one to use according to which soul or education level of the soul that you're trying to retrieve? Is that how you determine which one to go with?
Sometimes a form of soul retrieval can be done in a Reiki healing, like a one-on-one healing session. So say for instance you came to me for a healing. We might not have any idea what's going to happen, but we could easily slip into doing a soul retrieval through that healing.
Okay.
That can happen that way without anybody knowing. So it can be used in any ways. When I'm out in the field, so to speak, I just go with what I'm guided to, and it's mainly to make sure I protect myself. And like I said, I feel that the most important thing is when I circle the area, whether I walk around it or in the village in Scotland that I did, it was that big. I actually drove around it in the car. And by doing that, that was enough to sort of create a ring of light around it as well. So it's to protect. But again, like I said, the attunements that I've done have raised my energy to a certain level of light that I can go go into these places without being fearful. But I've got to be respectful of the, when I'm dealing with negative energies, I've got to be respectful of that. So that's sort of the learning that I've sort of been gifted over the last 3 years.
Well, I'm just so glad that you do this to help people. Well, I only have one more question that I can think of, and then I'll schedule another meeting with some more questions, because I'm sure I'll have a million probably by tomorrow just from all that you've shared today. What would be the symptoms a person might be having that, because previously to the recording we were discussing, some people aren't aware of the fact that they need such a thing as a soul retrieval, or they might not understand what it is. And you were describing that there could have been a past life, maybe that they weren't aware of, where that part of them was stuck, and you helped them ease it and release it to ease the dis-ease in their body. Is that correct? Excuse me.
What I've come to understand, everybody on this planet has done some soul retrieval. And like I was saying to yourself, you could have been to places that you felt familiar. You could have been to places that felt homely, happy. You could have been to places that didn't feel quite happy. You could have been to places that feel downright unpleasant. These are all signs that your soul's been there before, and depending on the emotion that you feel, it gives you some idea of how you ended that life. So if you've had a happy life, or you go to somewhere, it feels like home. I love being in Whitby, where I sort of found the soul retrieval journey started. I love going to Whitby. I can't explain why, but I love going there. So I've obviously had some past lives that have been happy lifetimes there. There's other places when I've done soul retrieval that even before I've got there, I've started panicking. So it's all, again, once we become aware, we can start realizing there's nothing to fear. And this is the thing. People may have emotions and they think, where's this coming from? Perhaps they feel anger. Anger could come up. I mean, we're all releasing at this time. So, for instance, somebody's feeling anger. Where's this coming from? That could be coming from a soul, a part of their soul that they have connected with somewhere in this world, in this lifetime, because that's what we do. We'll go to different places to connect with people from our soul group. We'll go to different places to connect with parts of our soul, so that we can, when we come to that time that we'll leave this experience on earth, I get a feeling our soul will be as whole as it can be. We'll have brought all those pieces back. So it's like a jigsaw. We're sort of piecing it all together.
Okay.
Well, like I say, if you have emotions or you feel an emotion and you, where's this coming from? You may well have connected with a part of your soul from a past life that has brought this emotion back for us to release through the physical. But until people become aware of how to do that soul retrieval, that soul will still be with them. And like I said, everything's in divine timing. Everything happens at the perfect moment. So sometimes when I felt like that, I felt I've been held back. Something's been stopping me moving forward. And it has in some way, but everything happens for that perfect moment. So when I've done a soul retrieval for myself, the soul has returned. It's been the perfect time for it to go. So if any of your viewers do feel any emotion that they're not knowing where it's coming from, that's a possibility that they're connected with a soul that's ready to go home. I mean, if you've seen ghost TV programs and anything like that, spirit can move things. Spirit can make noises. I look at that as spirit basically getting in touch with us, saying, "Look, I'm here, and I want to go back to the light. I want to go home. I want to move on." And if they start making more noise, which I have had, I've been woke up in the early of the hours of the morning, thinking we're being broken, and it's been spirit saying, "Look, I'm ready. I want to go home. Help me go home." So that if any of your viewers do hear noises or hear voices, and it becomes more regular, and it gets that the volume is getting higher, spirit can't hurt us. It's just that spirit saying, "Look, I'm ready to go home. Please help me."
Okay. Thank you so much.
Is that okay?
I
Is that
just love
okay?
how you just answer all the questions so eloquently. I pray that anyone listening that has questions or are stuck in these type of situations and they can't figure out how to get through it will contact you, or you can contact me at the Rainbow Bridge Tribal Council of Light, and I'll be more than happy to refer you to someone locally if you can't get to UK. But if they can connect to you directly and you can help them with the questions, we're creating a directory all over the world to help people get through these things so that we can all be set free and reach our highest point of living that we've all been looking forward to for eternity, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm ready to see new earth blossoming in every direction. I've seen enough of the pain, so I just automatically pray that anyone listening to this that has these type of situations, please don't be scared to reach out for help. I understand that we're all adults and we don't like asking for help because we think that others will judge us. But when you're working with people like me and Jeffrey here, there is no judgment. There's only release, and growth is our only goal for all of humanity. So I pray they receive that as kindly as we sent it. And if I have anyone, I'll refer them to you, and vice versa. I've been working with a lot of PTSD and trauma victims recently. So this is all very intriguing to me because I know we all have our specialties, but I'm glad to know guys like you are out there helping us get through it. Namaste.